Live now. Good. And before we start with philosophy topic, we I just want that you guys watch this web series. Okay, I hope so. It was I'm playing.
To grow exponentially.
Welcome to the world of philosophy. Most college courses are about teaching you things that you don't know. Here, I'm going to teach you that you don't even know. Oh boy. Well, he didn't really know anything because he might just be a butterfly dreaming that he was a philosopher. Yes.
He wasn't a butterfly.
Well, how do you know?
The butterfly brain doesn't contain enough. This is college. I can do that.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
From now on, I'm coming to you with all my problems. The statement on the other side of this sign is true. Ugh. Professor Erickson!
Come in. Mr. Cooper, welcome. How can I help you?
I would like to drop your class.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I enjoyed our discussion about skepticism and butterflies.
I'm a scientist, and I don't find those types of questions worth my time. And butterflies are just worms that can chase you.
The questions of philosophy are extremely challenging. People have spent 2,000 plus years trying to solve them without success. So, if you feel like giving up...
I'm saying they're not important.
Okay, so what is important?
The acquisition of factual knowledge.
And how do you know if something is factual?
You test it and see if it holds.
I like Funyuns too.
I stopped at the library today and picked...
I like Funyuns too.
I stopped at the library today and picked up books on epistemology, Descartes' dream argument, and the foundations of scientific logic. Do you know what she's going to do?
Rue the day.
The day, the night, if it's rueable, she's going to rue it.
In a math class, I sit right between Heather M and Heather B.
It's not
So
Me to defend her honor. I had a lot of ground to cover in one night. Thankfully, 11 years of my family's incessant yammering had given me an extraordinary ability to focus.
And I want to watch Fresh Prince. Too bad. I'm not. Yours is 3.
What's happening?
We're playing a board game.
Before dinner?
You ate dinner.
Did I like it?
You said the meatloaf was dry.
That sounds right.
Oh, goodness.
Time did the Cartesian time, but who could sleep with a page-turner like Meditations on First Philosophy by René Descartes? Descartes was more than just a philosopher. He was also the mathematician who invented the Cartesian plane. If you've ever enjoyed that x squared plus y squared equals k is a circle, you can say merci beaucoup to Monsieur Descartes.
Hello.
Bonjour, Sheldon.
Bonjour, René Descartes.
Please, sit.
I see you're reading a book on philosophy by Aristotle.
I am. And it is garbage. Aristotle is, how you say, a punk.
Today we'll study Aristotle as well in detail.
Since last we spoke, and I'm prepared to show you that everything we know about science is true.
Well, I'm all ears.
You said I couldn't truly know anything, but there's one thing that I do know. If I question, I must think. If I think, I must exist. Cogito, ergo, sum, I think, therefore I am.
You're right.
You're darn right I'm right.
Guys, give it up for Sheldon. Now for a job well done.
Yes, Bhumi? Yes, Bhumi?
I think you have some disturbance in the internet connection.
Okay, just let me check.
Yeah, because half the video's number 1 is not visible.
Okay, so sorry for that. I forget to share the screen.
I was just listening to the audio, that too was breaking quite a lot. So I don't know what the case is.
So sorry.
Yeah, I know because there's a different disturbance because I've said this multiple times, but you didn't seem to listen to it or something.
So sorry. Sorry for that. Now it is visible. Who can
Yes,
say?
yes, now it is.
Now it is now.
Here is a flower full of sweet nectar.
Why would I want that?
Because you're a butterfly and this is just your dream.
I'm not a butterfly.
Are you sure?
It was a dream. Oh no. Help! I'm a butterfly! Nothing I know is real! Everything is a dream! Missy, help! No! Missy, am I awake or is this a dream?
Shut up, dingus.
Okay, I'm awake.
Welcome to the world of philosophy. I'm going to teach you that you don't even know what you think you know.
Oh boy. I'm not going to school.
So here it is done. Okay. Now, uh, now, I hope it is visible now.
There is no screen share
Yeah,
visible.
I'm sharing my tab screen. Just give me a second. I'm making it mirror. Yeah, it's done. Now tell me, what do you guys understand by philosophy? Yes, Bhumi, you want to say anything on that? What do you understand by philosophy from here?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah,
I didn't quite get it.
like what do you understand by philosophy now from here? What do you understand?
I think that philosophy is just perspective of people of what they
Hmm.
think is true. And as
Hmm.
young Sheldon said, that I think, therefore I am.
Hmm.
And then we have to learn how to think what we think. So it also involves a little bit of metacognition that,
Hmm.
we just don't think, we are not just beings. It's complicated. I mean, people think for 2000 plus years, which is really amazing.
Hmm. Well, if we talk about philosophy, philosophy means wisdom of knowledge, right? Love towards knowledge, love towards wisdom. So, philosophy here means we always try to
Mm-hmm.
ask why, what are the things happening, why the things are happening. It's all about raising questions towards knowledge. How do we know it exists? So, if you see around knowledge, वहाँ पे they talked about epistemology, right? And we talked about epistemology earlier as well. Epistemology is all about how do we know reality exists? How do we know those things that we are observing, the things that we are seeing, they are really, they are real, they exist in reality. How do we know that thing? So इन्हीं सभी सवालों के जवाब देती है philosophy, taken in different ways. For example, there are majorly four things are there under them. First is empiricism, second one is rationalism, third one is skepticism, ठीक है, fourth one, and if we talk about empiricism, it's all about experiences that we sense, take it through our own the with the help of our own senses, what we experience. That's what reality is. We know reality with the help of our senses, take it with the help of our own experiences. That reality. Second one is rationalism. That talks about reason. Take it with the help of our own reason, with the help of logic, take it with the help of facts. We know that reality things exist, right? And skepticism के बारे में we'll talk about in upcoming classes and all. ठीक है? So before we begin, I want that you guys draw this, okay? That how we're going to proceed. First, we'll start with early Greek philosophy, ठीक है यहाँ पे early Greek philosophy, ठीक है उसके बाद will come to medieval period. After medieval period will come to Renaissance period, ठीक है and after Renaissance we come towards modern scientific psychology. We comes towards modern scientific psychology, ठीक है, which is the year 1879, where psychology established as a distinct subject, ठीक है, which separated itself from philosophy, ठीक है, that's the year where Wilhelm Wundt established his first laboratory at Leipzig, Germany, right? So that's the thing from where we start understanding modern या फिर scientific psychology. And after this, which is we'll talk about 2000, ठीक है, which is known as 21st century, जहाँ पे we start with interdisciplinary approach, जहाँ पे यहाँ पे intermingling होना start हो गया of different subjects. Yes, Bhumi.
Your video and audio stopped again.
Okay, so let me check
But
why
I
it's
heard
happening.
till Leipzig, Germany, 1879, and then it turned to be scientific and everything.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Your video and audio stopped again.
We start with it. I guess Bhumi, it is
It's
coming
gone
from your
again.
side because live में बिल्कुल proper आ रहा है सब कुछ, voice and everything is going properly. You have to check from your side once.
Okay, I shall.
Just check it once from your side because it is voice and video, everything is coming clearly. Let's check it once. So if we come back again to topic this, then in early Greek philosophy, we'll talk about what philosophers, ठीक है, how many philosophers. We'll start with Thales, ठीक है. After Thales, we'll talk about Heraclitus. After Heraclitus, we'll talk about Parmenides. After Parmenides, we'll talk about Pythagoras. After Pythagoras, we'll talk about Empedocles. ठीक है. After Empedocles, we'll talk about after them. They all are known as cosmologists. They all are known themselves as cosmologists. ठीक है. Why they are known themselves as cosmologists? Why so? Because they were trying to answers, ठीक है, about universe. They try to explain the origin, ठीक है, structure and the processes which are governing this universe. That's why they all are known as cosmologists. They were trying to find out the answers towards the universe. ठीक है कि यूनिवर्स किस तरीके से बना, स्ट्रक्चर क्या है यूनिवर्स का. They were trying to answer all of these questions. That's why they are known as cosmologists. ठीक है. After them, we'll start studying about sophists. ठीक है. What do you mean by sophists? Sophists are not. They are just a paid teachers. ठीक है. एथेंस और ग्रीक्स में, ठीक है, ग्रीस में they were just paid teachers and nothing else. In which we'll talk about majorly three, which is Plato, ठीक है, Socrates एंड एरिस्टोटल. ठीक है. अपन डिटेल में बात करेंगे सोफिस्ट के बारे में. इनसे भी पहले और भी आए दो या तीन. ठीक है. विल टॉक अबाउट देम एज वेल. ठीक है. वो कौन कौन आए, बट वी मेजरली राइट अबाउट प्लेटो, सोक्रेटिस एंड एरिस्टोटल. ठीक है. फिर अपन बात करेंगे मिडिवल पीरियड में. मिडिवल पीरियड में कौन कौन आया. मिडिवल पीरियड में आए अपन बात करेंगे सेंट ऑगस्टीन. विल टॉक अबाउट सेंट ऑगस्टीन, Saint Augustine, and Saint Thomas Aquinas. Saint Augustine and Saint Thomas Aquinas. ठीक है. Then we'll move towards them. ठीक है, इसके बाद में विल टॉक अबाउट इन रेनेसां पीरियड में विल स्टार्ट विद जॉन लॉक, ठीक है, जॉन लॉक, जेम्स मिल, जॉन स्टुअर्ट मिल, ठीक है। तो सेंट थॉमस एक्विनस के बाद में विल टॉक अबाउट जॉन लॉक, जेम्स मिल, जॉन स्टुअर्ट मिल, and then we'll come to 18, we'll try to understand more about Renaissance period, then we'll come towards the year 1879, ठीक है, और what are the reasons that took place at during that particular time, so it gave birth to a experimental psychology or to a psychology, right? Then we'll study that particular part. So let's begin with first philosopher. भूमि, अब आवाज आ रही है मेरी क्लियर आपको?
Yeah, you're clearly audible.
Yeah, okay. So it was from your side or my side? Then we'll study that particular.
No, no, actually, that was from my side. I had to check. There's nothing
Okay,
wrong from your end.
okay. Thank you for that. So now let's talk about first philosopher. ठीक है, इनका जन्म हुआ था 625 BCE में, ठीक है, विच इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली, सी ए स्टैंड्स फॉर सरका, ठीक है। तभी अपन हिस्ट्री में बात करते हैं तो सरका मीन्स अप्रोक्सीमेटली, most of the time we don't know, ठीक है, what's the correct age, so that's why we always say CA, which stands for circa, which means approximately, ठीक है। So philosophy starts at the year at 625, ठीक है, BCE, which stands for before common era, ठीक है। why he has considered as why we consider him why we consider him as a first philosopher, the reason is very simple. He tried to explain each and every concept based upon natural principles, ठीक है। He is the first one who emphasized upon natural explanations and minimized the supernatural ones. What I mean by supernatural ones, उस पर्टिकुलर टाइम पे इफ वी टॉक अबाउट, वहां पे दो चीजें मेजरली फोकस करी जा सकती है, दैट इज फर्स्ट वन इज एनिमिज्म एंड सेकंड वन इज एंथ्रोमॉर्फिज्म, ठीक है। अब इसका क्या मतलब होता है, लेट मी टेल यू। एंथ्रोमॉर्फिज्म का मतलब होता है तब अपन लोग स्टार्ट कर देते हैं पर्सोनिफाई करना नेचर को। फॉर एग्जाम्पल अपन जैसे कि आसमान में बिजली कड़क रही है, ठीक है, तो बिजली कट रही है तो उसको अपन किस तरीके से पर्सोनिफाई कर रहे हैं, किस तरीके से परसीव कर रहे हैं कि गॉड, दैट्स अ ज्यूस गॉड, वो बहुत ज्यादा गुस्से में है और ही इज थ्रोइंग बोल्ट अपॉन अस, ठीक है, बहुत ज्यादा गुस्से में है और थ्रो कर रहे हैं बोल्ट, ठीक है। तो अपन ने नेचर को स्टार्ट कर दिया पर्सोनिफाई करना, अपन अपने ह्यूमन के थॉट्स को, फीलिंग्स को, ठीक है, उनके बिहेवियर्स को, तब अपन नॉन लिविंग ऑब्जेक्ट्स के ऊपर पर्सोनिफिकेशन स्टार्ट कर देते हैं, ठीक है। ह्यूमन बिहेवियर को, ह्यूमन के थॉट्स को, ह्यूमन के फीलिंग्स को तब अपन स्टार्ट कर देते हैं ना कोई पर्टिकुलर नॉन लिविंग थिंग के ऊपर, जैसे कि मिनी द पू, ठीक है, विनी द पू हो गया, आपका मिक्की माउस हो गया, ये सब हो गए। इवन इन इंडियन ग्रीक, इवन इन इंडियन मैथोलॉजी एज वेल, यू विल सी दैट, ठीक है। जैसे कि गणेश जी गॉड हो गए, ठीक है, वहां पे देर इज गणेश जी गॉड में क्या है, इट इज रिप्रेजेंटिंग द विजडम, ठीक है। एलिफेंट का हेड है विच रिप्रेजेंट्स द विजडम, ठीक है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल कहीं कहीं सिर्फ कोई पत्थर निकला है, उसको वी आर कंसिडरिंग दैट स्टोन एज अ गॉड, राइट। सो वी आर स्टार्टेड personification, so that was a supernatural once taking place that particular time, जिसको अपन बोलते हैं एंथ्रोमॉर्फिज्म, ठीक है। एक होता है एनिमिज्म, ठीक है। अब एनिमिज्म क्या होता है, तब अपन नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स को कंसिडर करने लग जाते हैं कि लिविंग थिंग्स, ठीक है, उनके साथ में अपनी फीलिंग्स, अपने शेयर्स, अपने थॉट्स भी शेयर करना स्टार्ट कर देते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल बचपन में अपन लोगों ने बेबी डॉल डॉल के साथ खेला होगा, राइट, और अपन ने उसको पूछा भी होगा कि आपने खाना खाया, अपन ने खाना खिलाया भी होगा उसे, क्योंकि वी स्टार्टेड कंसिडरिंग दैट नॉन लिविंग थिंग एज अ लिविंग थिंग, राइट, कि हाँ उसमें भी कॉन्शियसनेस है, उसमें भी थिंकिंग है, उसमें भी कुछ फीलिंग्स है। सो दैट इज व्हाट एनिमिज्म इज ऑल अबाउट। तो पहले ये सब कुछ चल रहा था, एनिमिज्म एंड एंथ्रोमॉर्फिज्म, ठीक है। तो बट ही इज द वन, थेल्स, THALES, ठीक है, थेल्स is the one Thales is the one who started countering all of these things, and he tried that everything which you see around, there is a reason behind it, and which is governed by none other than natural principles, ठीक है, not by the whims of the gods. It is all explained by some natural phenomena. It is governed by some natural principles, right? और उन्होंने बताया कि there is a one common one primary element, ठीक है, जो कि हर चीज में आपको देखने को मिलेगा, ठीक है, और उसको उन्होंने नाम दिया PHYSIS, दैट्स द फिजिसिस्ट। इन्होंने इस चीज को बहुत अच्छी तरीके से एक्सप्लेन किया विद द हेल्प ऑफ वाटर एनालॉजी। ठीक है, किस तरीके से? फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन्होंने बताया कि जैसे कि वाटर प्रेजेंट होता है डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स में। फॉर एग्जाम्पल वाटर इज प्रेजेंट इन आइस, वाटर इज प्रेजेंट इन क्लाउड्स, फॉग, mist, in different forms, right? But there is one common element is there in all of them, which is hydrogen. Okay, there is one primary element is there in all of them. So that's what he had concluded on the basis of all of this analogy is that कि there is a primary element, ठीक है, जिससे हर चीज बनी हुई है और जिसको उन्होंने नाम दिया फिजिसिस्ट। ठीक है, through which everything else is derived in this world। ठीक है, और यहीं से आपका जो वर्ड है ना फिजिक्स, वो भी इसी वर्ड से डेराइव हुआ है। रिमेंबर दैट, ठीक है, जस्ट फॉर योर नॉलेज। ठीक है, अब ये बोल के तो चले गए। थेल्स के कुछ और भी कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन थे, इफ आई से उनका एक और दो कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन और थे। ही इज द वन हु स्टार्टेड प्रिडिक्टिंग एक्लिप्स। ठीक है, he develops the method of navigation based on the stars and planets as well. So these are his other contributions as well। ठीक है, नाउ इनके बाद में एक फिलोसोफर आते हैं जिनका नाम है हेराक्लिटस। ठीक है, अब हेराक्लिटस क्या बोलते हैं कि इट्स इम्पॉसिबल टू स्टेप ट्वाइस इनटू द सेम रिवर। इट्स इम्पॉसिबल, ऐसा पॉसिबल ही नहीं है कि आप दो बार कूद जाओ रिवर के अंदर, ठीक है, पानी में। इट्स इम्पॉसिबल। एंड हाउ सो? ही रेज्ड एक्चुअली एपिस्टेमोलॉजिकल क्वेश्चंस। ठीक है, he raised epistemological questions. As we know what epistemology is all about, epistemology is all about how do we know reality exists. So he raised those questions। आपको कैसे पता कि जो कि आप दो चीजों की स्टडी कर रहे हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने बताया कि क्लाउड्स भी वाटर ही है और आइस भी वाटर ही है, तो आपको कैसे पता कि दोनों चीज सिमिलर नहीं है? आपको कैसे पता दोनों चीजें अलग नहीं है? आप 100% श्योरिटी के साथ में कैसे कह सकते हो कि दोनों चीजें सेम है या फिर दोनों चीजें अलग है? डोंट यू थिंक परमानेंटली एक परमानेंस होना चाहिए? अगर आपको कोई चीज जाननी है तो वो परमानेंटली चेंज नहीं होनी चाहिए ना, तभी तो आप उसको अच्छी तरीके से समझ पाओगे। सो ही स्टार्टेड क्यूरियोसिटी अमंग philosophers। गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? He started curiosity among philosophers that कि for better understanding we need something which is permanent in nature, not which is totally keeps changing again and again. Yes, Bhumi? Yes, Bhumi?
Your video paused again, and this time I'm quite sure it was not from my end.
Okay. Thanks for letting me
I
know, to
think
be
there's some
honest.
sort of.
Otherwise, we need to record it again.
I didn't hear you again. You were gone.
But it is quite visible here. Thanks for letting me know, to be honest. Otherwise, we need to record it again.
Why is it not coming to me then? I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't.
live stream is working, but I could not hear you. Again, you lagged. Why? It's not my internet, I'm sure.
You
I'm
just,
having 5G connectivity here.
I know, just exit once and again join it. Try to do that.
I'll do that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, again,
But the video is still blurry. Okay, maybe it's from my end, but I'm literally sure it's not from my end. I don't know why.
from my side, it is clearly visible. Everything is clearly visible. On live stream, it is also clear and cut.
All right, no problem then. Just a
But
disturbance.
problem is there, na, if you're not able to hear me clearly, then how are you going to understand it?
Exactly. Oh,
My
okay,
tab
I'll
screen is
just
also
reconnect
like,
my internet.
yeah, do it.
No, no, tab screen is not blurry.
Okay. My face is blurry.
And
It's okay then. It doesn't matter. My face is blurry. It's okay.
no, but your voice is also lagging at times.
Okay.
I mean, I lose you at one point, and then when I try to get back, it's like I cannot understand what's going on. But apparently, I know what you're talking about, so naturally.
Yeah, I know. So, as we were talking about, he raised epistemological questions at particular time. So, at this point in history, he started questioning upon our own senses कि जो भी अपन चीज सेंस कर रहे हैं जो भी चीज अपन देख रहे हैं सामने ठीक है जो अपन नॉलेज एक्वायर कर रहे हैं with the help of our senses whether it is true or not whether it is right or not because the things that we are looking the things that we are seeing is keep changing ठीक है and that's why now for upcoming philosophers there are only two things left which they can study. First one is matter, or second one is something mental. I'm talking about here is matter, ठीक है, या फिर mental, ठीक है. What I mean by that, matter something which is real, but it is undetectable by our senses. Matter is real, right? We know there are some indivisible tiny matters which are present, which later on we got to know this is known as atoms. ठीक है या फिर ये चीज बची है अपने पास पढ़ाई करने के लिए पढ़ने के लिए ठीक है टू अंडरस्टैंड यूनिवर्स या फिर मेंटल विच इज योर आइडियाज या फिर सोल ठीक है विच इज अगेन which is not real, right? So these are the only two things which left. और ये चीज कौन ने अपन को प्रेशराइज किया और फोर्स किया towards moving this by raising Heraclitus, by raising epistemological questions. That whatever the things that we are observing or looking, it's keep changing. If these things are keep changing, how do we know that that is that thing that we are studying? Both the things are not the same, right? So these are the things. After this, देयर इज वन मोर फिलोसोफर ठीक है एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम तब हेराक्लिटस ये सब बात कर रहे थे उसी टाइम पे एक और फिलोसोफर थे जो कि बात कर रहे थे जिनका नाम था फर्मेंडिस ठीक है अब फर्मेंडिस का क्या कहना है उन्होंने भी वही फिलोसफी वही एनालॉजी सुनी कि हाँ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ वाटर्स आर प्रेजेंट ठीक है वगैरह वगैरह दैट वाटर इज प्रेजेंट इन डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स and there is a one primary element from which each and everything is made up of ठीक है तो ये चीज सेम चीज फर्मेंडिस ने भी सुना उन्होंने बोला ये जो भी आप चेंज वगैरह की बात कर रहे हो ना वो सब इल्यूजन है वो सब धोखा है देयर इज ओनली वन रियलिटी ठीक है उन्होंने बोला जो भी आप ये सब चेंज वगैरह की बात कर रहे हो ना वो सब धोखा है वो सब इल्यूजन है देयर इज ओनली वन रियलिटी विच इज फाइनाइट विच इज यूनिफॉर्म विच इज मोशनलेस एंड विच इज फिक्स्ड और उनको उन्होंने नाम दिया विच इज नन अदर देन रीजन दैट इज योर लॉजिक right that is your mathematical equations that is your abstractions right so that's what he had said so according to him reality is all about logic reason maths these are the correct things okay that's the only reality is equals to reason that's what he is meant by this ठीक है दोनों ने एक हेराक्लिटस से एक फर्मेंडिस थे जो कि किनको काउंटर किया इन दोनों ने नन अदर देन थेल्स ठीक है क्योंकि थेल्स ने एनालॉजी दी थी वाटर की, तो इन दोनों ने काउंटर किया, फर्मेंडिस ने काउंटर किया और हेराक्लिटस ने काउंटर किया। ठीक है, अब फर्मेंडिस के बाद में आते हैं पाइथागोरस। ठीक है, इन्होंने बोला कि ठीक है, फर्मेंडिस वॉज टोटली राइट। ठीक है कि हाँ, अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम, अकॉर्डिंग टू फर्मेंडिस, जो भी आप चेंज वगैरह देख रहे हो, इट वॉज ऑल इल्यूजन, देयर इज ओनली वन थिंग एंड देयर इज ओनली वन रियलिटी विच इज रीजन। ठीक है, नाउ एज पर पाइथागोरस, जो वर्ल्ड है ना, जो नेचुरल वर्ल्ड है, इज नॉट परफेक्ट। नथिंग इज परफेक्ट इन द नेचुरल वर्ल्ड, नथिंग इज परफेक्ट इन द नेचुरल वर्ल्ड। ठीक है, जो परफेक्शन है ना, वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ मैथमेटिकल वर्ल्ड में ही आपको देखने को मिलेगा। ठीक है, हाँ, आप चेंज वगैरह की बात कर लो, परफेक्ट की बात कर लो, इम्परफेक्ट की बात कर लो, बट जो परफेक्शन है ना, परफेक्ट चीज है, वो नेचुरल वर्ल्ड में मिल ही नहीं सकता है। वो आपको परफेक्शन सिर्फ और सिर्फ मिलेगा एब्स्ट्रैक्ट मैथमेटिकल वर्ल्ड में। So from this particular point, we started talking about two things, right? So we consider him as the first dualist in the history. ठीक है, so he gave two concepts. ठीक है, he started assuming two worlds. ठीक है, first world is known as abstract world. ठीक है, and second one is physical world. As per him, abstract world is abstract in nature, permanent, and intellectually knowable. Whereas, according to him, physical world is changing, empirical changing, empirical changing through empirical changing known through the senses. ठीक है, so according to him, there are two worlds which exist in this universe. First is abstract world, and second one is physical world. So according to him, so that's what he talked about reality. ठीक है, that's what Pythagoras talked about. And Pythagoras का आपने नाम सुना होगा, he is very famous philosopher. इनका contribution हर जगह है, इनका और इनके followers का. Why so? Because उन्होंने हर जगह मैथमेटिक्स को बहुत ज्यादा ही हर जगह डाल दिया, whether it is music, whether it is mysticism, whether it is maths, medicine, everywhere. You just name it, and they just added mathematical equations in that particular subject. That's what they did. ठीक है, एंड उन्होंने मेडिसिन में इन्होंने दे आर द फर्स्ट वंस हु वर टॉकिंग अबाउट इक्विलिब्रियम और डिसइक्विलिब्रियम. व्हाट आई मीन बाय दैट, अकॉर्डिंग टू देम, इन्होंने एनालॉजी दी म्यूजिक की. यहाँ पे इन्होंने बताया कि तभी आप कोई म्यूजिक सुनते हो, ठीक है, इट्स अ हार्मोनियस ब्लेंड, राइट. तभी आप कोई म्यूजिक सुनते हो, देयर इज अ ब्लेंड ऑफ वेरियस टोन्स. ठीक है, उन्हीं टोन्स को द सिमिलर वे अपना जो बॉडी है ना, देयर आर डिफरेंट बॉडीली एलिमेंट्स आर प्रेजेंट, जो कि साथ में मिलके अपने आप को अपन को हेल्दी रखते हैं. अगर वो थोड़ा सा भी डिसइक्विलिब्रियम और इम्बैलेंस हुआ, अपन बीमार पड़ जाते हैं, राइट. सो दैट्स व्हाट ही मेंट बाय दिस. और इनको अपन आगे भी देखेंगे कि किस तरीके से लोगों ने, आने वाले फिलोसोफर्स ने इस चीज को कंसिडर किया. ठीक है, ये हो गई बात पाइथागोरस की. ठीक है, दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट कि यहाँ पे इन्होंने दो वर्ल्ड में यूनिवर्स को डिवाइड किया, एक एब्स्ट्रैक्ट वर्ल्ड, दूसरा फिजिकल वर्ल्ड. दूसरा फिजिकल वर्ल्ड. Am I audible now? Earlier I was or not? Earlier I was audible or not? Okay. Now, after Pythagoras, there is another philosopher which is known as Empedocles. What he had said कि यूनिवर्स में जितने भी एलिमेंट्स है, जितने भी कुछ भी है ना, everything in the world is made up of four elements. ठीक है, which are earth, made up of earth, air, water, and fire. ठीक है, these are the four elements from which everything is made up of. ठीक है, that's what Empedocles talked about, and इसी चीज को आगे कंसिडर किया था none other than कौन ने? You're not seriously? Oh my God, you are not reading your notes. Seriously? Wait, what? क्या? I shared today. No. Yeah. You are not reading your notes. Then we'll talk about Democritus. Well, answer is Hippocrates. ठीक है? Hippocrates. ठीक है? Then after this, it's Democritus. You are not reading your notes, to be honest. Please keep revising it. And you have taken first class or not? Yet. First lecture. Yeah. Wow. But it's way more important one because that established the foundation of coming classes. That's why. Way more important to take that class. Yeah. Please make sure you do it. Now let's talk about last. He was the last of the early Greek cosmologists. इनके बाद में यूनिवर्स के बारे में सवाल ढूंढना बंद कर दिया था. He was the last one. That was the Democritus. ठीक है. His birth or his birth is around 460 BC and he died around 370 BCE. ठीक है. What he had said that Earth, he said that everything that exists in this particular universe, take whether it is inanimate, whether it is animate objects, or whether it is cognitive events, even your soul, even your mind, is made up of tiny indivisible parts, which he called atoms, right? And he is the one who named एटम्स ओनली. ठीक है. एंड ही ऑल्सो सेड कि जो भी चीजें अपन देखते हैं ना कि वो अलग अलग चीजें क्यों है, बट हर चीज तो एटम से ही बनी हुई है, बट हर चीज अपन देखने पे तो डिफरेंट है. वो चीज क्यों है? वो इसलिए है बिकॉज ऑफ देयर शेप. ठीक है, उनके अरेंजमेंट. ठीक है, बिकॉज ऑफ द अरेंजमेंट ऑफ them, because of the shape, because of the size, because of the number, because of the locations. So these are the factors. Because of that, because of these factors only, we see things which are totally different. ठीक है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल उन्होंने बोला कि जो आपका सोल या फिर माइंड है ना, जो बना हुआ है आपका स्मूथ और हाईली मोबाइल फायर आइटम्स से. ठीक है, स्मूथ एंड हाईली मोबाइल फायर atoms. ठीक है, so that's what he had said about this. So he reduced each and everything, right, into very tiny indivisible parts. That's why इनको कभी कभी अपन बोलते हैं this philosophy also known as reductionism. Reductionism and he known as reductionist. Reductionism or reductionist. So now after him what? ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे हो गए कॉस्मोलॉजिस्ट खत्म. नाउ विल स्टार्ट विद सोफिस्ट. सोफिस्ट आर जस्ट पेड टीचर्स. ठीक है, एंड नथिंग एल्स. बट अब सवाल था, अब यूनिवर्स के बारे में खूब जान लिया अपन ने. ठीक है, हाँ यूनिवर्स एग्जिस्ट. ठीक है, why, what of these things universe is made up of. ठीक है, इन सारे सवालों का जवाब ठीक लिया, जान लिया. But now we need to focus more upon epistemological questions. What can humans know it? ठीक है, कहाँ तक humans हैं जो कि जान सकते हैं about all of this. ठीक है, it's all about how much human beings know. ठीक है, here we started asking about epistemological questions. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले अपन तब सोफिस्ट की बात करेंगे. तो सबसे पहले जो सोफिस्ट की, हाँ भूमि, अच्छा, ओके, अच्छा, देयर इज वन गेस्ट, बस होता है, ओके. गुड इवनिंग मैम. So now if we talk about first sophist is none other than its Protagoras. ठीक है, he talked about किस तरीके से अपन जान सकते हैं, राइट. ही रेज वही एपिस्टेमोलॉजिकल क्वेश्चंस, हाउ डू वी नो थिंग्स एग्जिस्ट. ठीक है, वही देयर इज अ शिफ्ट टुवर्ड्स एपिस्टेमोलॉजिकल क्वेश्चंस नाउ, फ्रॉम कॉस्मोलॉजिस्ट टुवर्ड्स एपिस्टेमोलॉजिकल. ठीक है, अपन को पता चल गया, ठीक है, यूनिवर्स इज मेड अप ऑफ टाइनी इंडिविजिबल पार्ट्स. ठीक है, डिफरेंट फिलोसफीज वगैरह सबने दी. ठीक है, डिफरेंट अपने एक्सप्लेनेशंस दिए, डिफरेंट आंसर्स दिए. ठीक है, नाउ प्रोटोगेरस टॉक्ड अबाउट कि मैन इज एट द सेंटर. ठीक है, व्हाट आई मीन बाय दैट, याद है अपन ने रिलेटिविज्म की बात की थी. डिफरेंट रियलिटीज आर देयर, एवरी मैन इज वेरी सब्जेक्टिव इन नेचर, every man is unique, right? So they also talked about the similar thing. They also talked about it is impossible for us to understand the reality. Every man is unique. ठीक है, truth depends upon perceiver. ठीक है, rather than on physical reality. It depends upon the person who is perceiving that reality. It's not upon reality itself. ठीक है, what I mean by that again, let me tell you. Um, for example, remember, I think, therefore I am. Right? That famous quote from that web series that we watched. Okay? That's the same thing that he talked about. Okay? It's all about perception of that human being. What that person is perceiving. If that person is perceiving that is reality, that means that's a reality. That's it. Nothing beyond that, nothing this. Just write one point. ठीक है, to for better understanding. इसके आगे लिखो भूमि. इनका बर्थ ईयर अगर मैंने बताया तो 410 बीसी से 485 से 410 बीसी. ठीक है, truth depends upon perceiver rather than on physical reality. Truth depends upon perceiver. Truth depends upon perceiver rather than on physical reality. Truth depends upon perceiver rather than on physical reality. Next point. Man is the measure of all things. Man is the measure of all things. Hyphen of the things that are, of the things that are, comma, that they are, comma, and of things that are not, the things of things that are not, comma, that they are not. Quite complicated, right? Just remember that. Okay? Yeah, that they are not. That they are not. It's all upon perceiver कि सामने वाला क्या देख रहा है. अगर आपको उस रियलिटी के बारे में जानना है ना, तो आपको उस पर्टिकुलर पर्सन के बारे में जानना होगा. Getting my point? It's way more difficult to understand his philosophy. ठीक है, philosophy is all about confusion and all. So indirectly you are saying I'm not a good teacher. So yeah. ठीक है. देखो, let me try to explain you one more time. ठीक है, in simple terms. What Pythagoras said. ठीक है, हर कोई बात कर रहा था यूनिवर्स. ठीक है, हर कोई बात कर रहा था रियलिटी की. ठीक है, हर कोई बात कर रहा था जो सामने दिखाई दे रही है अपन को. ठीक है, जो चीजें अपन सामने देख रहे हैं, ठीक है, वो रियलिटी है. ठीक है, यहाँ तक अपन यही समझ रहे हैं कि जो भी अपन सेंस कर सकते हैं, जो भी अपन एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हैं, वही रियलिटी है. ठीक है, बट अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम वो चीज रियलिटी नहीं है. रियलिटी एग्जिस्ट अमंग विद इन अस. रियलिटी है ना, वो अपने अंदर ही है कि अपन क्या चीज परसीव कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, अगर वो चीज अपन को लग रहा है कि हाँ है, अगर ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट दे आर, अगर अपन को लग रहा है कि वो चीज है तो इसका मतलब वो चीज है. अगर वो चीज अपन को नहीं लग रही है इसका मतलब वो नहीं है. दैट्स व्हाट ही वाज ट्राइंग टू से. दैट्स व्हाट रियलिटी इज. इट्स ऑल अपॉन अस. अपन को अगर लग रहा है कि रियलिटी है तो रियलिटी है. अगर अपन को नहीं लग रहा है रियलिटी नहीं है तो रियलिटी नहीं है. दैट्स व्हाट प्रोटेगोरस सेड अबाउट रियलिटी. ठीक है, इसके बाद में और बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए आगे वालों को और समझो. ठीक है, ये तो बस बेसिक्स है. अभी तो खतरनाक आने वाले हैं. वेट फॉर अदर वंस. ठीक है, दैट्स व्हाट प्रोटेगोरस सेड. ठीक है, इन द ईयर 485 to 410 BCE. ठीक है, then another one came. His name is Gorgias. No, अभी तो टाइम है प्लेटो को आने में. अभी तो no. We are done with cosmologists. Now we are done with cosmologists. Now we started sophists. ठीक है, sophists में we started with Protagoras. ठीक है, second one is Gorgias. वहां पे मैंने इन दोनों के नाम नहीं लिखवाए थे. ठीक है, because yeah, because I thought we are not going to write about them. That's why. ठीक है, but it's way more understand. It's important for us to understand. ठीक है. Now what Gorgias said. He said there is not one way. अब जैसे कि प्रोटोगरस ने क्या बोला कि जो भी अपन देखेंगे, जो भी अपन सोचेंगे वही रियलिटी है, जो अपन नहीं सोचेंगे वो चीज रियलिटी नहीं है. अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम कोई एक ही तरीका नहीं है रियलिटी को जानने का. देर आर सो मेनी डिफरेंट वेज टू अंडरस्टैंड द रियलिटी. ठीक है, उन्होंने तीन चीजें कंक्लूड करी एट द एंड. ठीक है, फर्स्ट राइट, देन आई एक्सप्लेन यू गाइस. Gorgias 485 to 380 BCE. 485 to 380. Yes. So he concluded three things. First thing, nothing exists. He concluded three things. First, nothing exists. Second, if it did exist, it could not be comprehended. Third thing, if it could be comprehended, if it could not, no, it could not be communicated to another person. That's what your quote. History repeats itself. He concluded three things, right? First one, nothing exists. ठीक है, if it did exist, ठीक है, अगर वो चीज exist करती है, then it could not be comprehended. If it could be comprehended, if we try to understand it, then it could not be communicated to another person. Right? That's what he had said. Yes, Bhumi. No, it is not visible. If it could, if it could be comprehended, it could not be it could not be communicated to another person. These are the 3 points that he had said. It means there is not one way to understand the reality, there are many ways. ठीक है, अगर आपको वो वे पता भी चल गया, it's way more difficult for you to tell to other persons that things. ठीक है, so it's quite complicated. ठीक है, you guys don't have to go into depth. ठीक है, just try to remember it. These are the 3 things that he said. UGC not going to ask all of this. ठीक है, it's for us only. Now, after him, we'll talk about Socrates. Well, Plato is the disciple of Socrates. प्लेटो के गुरुजी हैं सोक्रेटिस, प्लेटो के टीचर. Yeah. So Plato is the teacher of Socrates. So that's why it's way more important to understand Socrates first before we understand Plato. No, no. Socrates is the teacher. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. But let me clarify. Socrates is the teacher of Plato, right? Plato is the disciple of Socrates. Okay. Hmm. Democritus का. Mm-hmm. It's 370 BCE. So जितना भी, yeah, most of them. We are talking about Greek philosophy now. So they are very parallel to each other only. They were countering each other, they were talking with. Remember we talked about Kuhn, Thomas Kuhn ka 3 stages, pre-paradigmatic stage, paradigm, then revolutionary stage. No, no, you haven't taken that class. First take that class, then we'll talk about. ठीक है? Then या तो जितना भी अपन को सोक्रेटिस के बारे में पता चला है, एवरीथिंग वी नो फ्रॉम प्लेटो ओनली. ठीक है, बिकॉज फ्रॉम हिज राइटिंग्स ओनली. ठीक है, फ्रॉम द राइटिंग्स ऑफ द प्लेटो ओनली वी गॉट टू नो अबाउट सोक्रेटिस. या सो what Socrates is all about. Mostly, there is nothing to know right about Socrates as of now. ठीक है, just try to understand. एथेंस में सोक्रेटिस ऐसे ही घूमते रहते थे. ठीक है, पूरे टाइम एथेंस में ऐसे कैसे घूमे जा रहे हैं. ठीक है, वहां पे यूथ से बात कर रहे हैं, इंटरेक्ट करने की ट्राई कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, जिनको बोलते हैं अपन क्या बोलते हैं, कौन सा मेथड इट इज नोन एज, विच मेथड, बताओ. डोंट नो विच मेथड इट इज नोन एज. या नो, नो, इट इज नोन एज डायलैक्टिक मेथड. ठीक है, इट इज, या Yeah, so that is known as dialectic method. ठीक है, in that particular method, he only try to communicate and try to find out the answers by themselves only. ठीक है, while communicating. एक बार आप बोलोगे, एक बार मैं बोलूँगा. That's the way he used to interact with the youngsters of Athens. ठीक है, तो he always encourage Athens. वहाँ पे ग्रीस ग्रीस की कैपिटल इट इज एथेंस. ठीक है, वहाँ पे उनको एनकरेज करते थे टू आस्क व्हाई, कीप आस्किंग व्हाई, व्हाट. ठीक है, कीप रेज दीज क्वेश्चंस टू योर अथॉरिटी. ठीक है, तो वहां के जो अथॉरिटी थी उनको ये अच्छा नहीं लगा. उनको लगा कि ये रिबेल कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, सोक्रेटिस, और उनको मैनिपुलेट कर रहे हैं टूवर्ड्स अथॉरिटी. ठीक है, इसलिए उनको डेथ सेंटेंस दे दिया वहां के किंग ने. ठीक है, दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम. अब ये चीज प्लेटो को, ठीक है, वी आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड उनका बहुत टू डेमोक्रेसी. ठीक है, वो चाहते थे कि डेमोक्रेसी में उनका अच्छा खासा, ही वांट्स टू एंटर इनटू डेमोक्रेसी, ही वांट्स टू एंटर इनटू पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम ऑफ ग्रीस, ठीक है, बट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस स्टेप ऑफ दैट किंग, ठीक है, दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम, ठीक है, कि सोक्रेटिस को डेथ सेंटेंस देना, ठीक है, he decided he will do nothing, he will not going to now he is not going to go into politics, ठीक है, in Athens. So because of that, then he traveled Egypt, Sicily and Italy, ठीक है, and Italy में that particular time he met few Pythagoreans, ठीक है, कहीं कहीं पे लिखा हुआ है किताब में पाइथागोरस, ठीक है, कहीं कहीं पे लिखा हुआ है कि पाइथागोरस के डिसाइपल्स से ही मेट, ठीक है, देन he had taken their philosophy. So but we never know, ठीक है, whether it is Pythagoras or Pythagoreans, it's totally up to you, ठीक है, बट Pythagoras के इन्होंने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से ही इंक्लूडेड इन हिज फिलोसफी दिस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट, ठीक है, फिर ये वापस आते हैं प्लेटो एथेंस में, ठीक है, in the year 387 BCE, in the year 387 BCE में वापस आते हैं एथेंस में, एंड he founded his academy, ठीक है, और it is also very interesting to know from where this academy word came, ठीक है, ये academy word कहाँ से आया, जो इन्होंने प्रॉपर्टी ली थी ना जहाँ पे इनको academy बनानी थी, उस प्रॉपर्टी के ओनर का नाम था अकेडमोस, वहां से ये वर्ड आया अकेडमी, जो कि अभी भी बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलर है, ठीक है, एकेडमी का क्या मतलब होता है, कोई एक पर्टिकुलर इंस्टीट्यूशन जहाँ पे कुछ बच्चों को टीचिंग्स या फिर कुछ चीजें सिखाई जाती है, राइट, राइट, दैट व्हाट एकेडमी मीन्स, ठीक है, जो कि अभी रियल टाइम पे भी एग्जिस्ट करता है, एंड दिस वर्ड केम फ्रॉम दिस, ठीक है, फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर इंस्टेंस बिकॉज ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन हुज नेम वाज अकेडमोस, ठीक है, तो उन्होंने, अब प्लेटो ने इस एकेडमी में ही स्टार्टेड टीचिंग साइंटिफिक मेथड्स, ही स्टार्टेड टीचिंग ऑल ऑफ दोज थिंग्स, ठीक है, रिसर्च के इंस्ट्रक्शंस देना स्टार्ट किया फिलोसफी के, ठीक है, ही स्टार्टेड टीचिंग देम साइंस फिलोसफी ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, ठीक है, दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम। तो अभी अभी अपन ऊपर पाइथागोरस पढ़ के आए हैं, ठीक है, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू पाइथागोरस हाउ मेनी वर्ल्ड्स आर देयर, राइट, सो ही आल्सो टॉक्ड अबाउट द सेम थिंग, ठीक है, inspiration we can say, not copycat. Now according to him there are two worlds, ठीक है, first one which is what happened, ये upside down, yeah, I saw it, it's a good web series though, but last 5 episodes are remaining of mine, I need to watch, okay, last season you need to watch, I need to watch last 5 episodes. So according to him two worlds exist, ठीक है, first one, uppermost one, which is known as intelligible world, another one which is known as visible world, वो कौन से वर्ल्ड की बात किया था उन्होंने, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट वर्ल्ड, उन्होंने पाइथागोरस ने, यस, ठीक है, he also talked about the same things which is intelligible world and visible world, ठीक है, अब visible world, ठीक है, which is world of change and uncertainty, ठीक है, जो कि अपन चेंजेस देखने को मिल रहा है, वही फर्स्ट वन कि हाँ वाटर भी चेंजिंग इनटू डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स एंड ऑल, ठीक है, he also talked about this thing and he said this visible world is world of change, imperfect and uncertain, whereas he talked about intelligible world which is also invisible world, okay, which is not visible from our own eyes, so this is known as invisible world, and it is perfect and unchanging form, It is perfect and unchanging form. No, no, no. Then it's okay. It's good. ठीक है. Now, but he divided these worlds into two more different parts. ठीक है. अब visible world को भी इन्होंने दो में divide कर दिया. First one, which is illusion, and another one is belief. ठीक है. Another one, इनको इन्होंने divide किया intelligence, reason. अब ये वर्ल्ड को समझने के लिए उन्होंने एक एनालॉजी दी. ठीक है. अब वो एनालॉजी किस तरीके से दी इन्होंने बताया एक गुफा है. ठीक है. या यू आर राइट. या यू नो दैट एनालॉजी. या. क्या था बताओ. हम्म. 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 या. हम्म. No, you are totally right. You are going right. Yeah. No. You're totally absolutely right. Yeah, you are totally absolute right. Take in this way, he explained each and every this thing right. So same thing, illusion and belief, as you talked about, the things that he was watching, shadows and all of these things, right? And he, yeah, you can tap yourself. Okay. So he called them dancing illusions. ठीक है, those persons that are going behind him, ठीक है, the shadows that you were that person who was watching, ठीक है, those इन्होंने इनको नाम दिया dancing illusions. ठीक है, so that's what illusion is all about. Belief that he went outside from that cave and then he started interacting with them. That's all about belief. ठीक है. And now let's talk about intelligible world. So intelligence जो ये है, he is considered it as the highest. Take among all of these categories of things, right? It is the highest most. Take and here, if we reach at this particular stage, we understand the ultimate God, right? He named this, yeah, you can say kind of. Okay, he started introducing hierarchy, or they now, if you look, now sophists are trying to find out the ultimate answers, okay, ultimate purpose of the life. Okay, he talked about God. Okay, for the first time, they are talking about God, all of these things. Okay, our ultimate purpose is to reach at this stage, right? And reason is all about like maths, reason, and all of these things, logical things required to get postulates, right? All of those things that we're talking about, abstract things and all. ठीक है जो कि अपन ने rationalism पे बात किया था वहीं पे we are talking about here on reason. So that's what world he described. ठीक है that's the Plato. Now right, इनका जो famous work है ना, if you talk about his famous work, and I just before we write about him, there's one more thing we need to know. He was not happy with the with the king. ठीक है बिकॉज किंग ने डेथ सेंटेंस दिया था इनके गुरुजी को, सोक्रेटिस को डेथ सेंटेंस वाज गिवन बाय द किंग ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम, राइट? सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ही वाज नॉट हैप्पी विद द किंग. ठीक है ही वाज नॉट हैप्पी विद द वर्च्यूज ऑफ द किंग. ठीक है वर्च्यूज, व्हाट आई मीन बाय वर्च्यूज, वर्च्यूज मींस हायर मोरल ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड्स. गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? हायर हायर moral standards. ठीक है the things that you have to do right. He was not happy with him. So he was trying to change those particular things as well. He was talking about ethics as well. He was talking about morality. He was talking about things that what a king should do. Okay, in his philosophy, he was talking about all of those things. Okay, intelligence is all about God. Okay, reason. You have to, if you are making any decisions, you have to think logically. Okay, he indirectly he is pointing out on whom king, right? Even he said that purpose of education is to produce philosopher rulers. Getting my point? Even he said that purpose of education was to produce philosopher rulers. Function of education is not to put knowledge into the soul, but to bring out those things that are latent, जो कि चीज छुपी हुई है ना सोल के अंदर, उनको बाहर निकालना है. That's the purpose of education is all about. And what he meant by this is the higher moral standards which the king was lacking. Because अगर उसमें morality होता, उसमें अगर virtue होता, तो कभी वो सोक्रेटिस को डेथ सेंटेंस देता ही नहीं. क्योंकि वो गधा था इसलिए उसने डेथ सेंटेंस दिया, क्योंकि वो लैक कर रहा था मोरालिटी इसलिए. तो पर्पस एजुकेशन का यही है. आई एम प्लेटो हियर, नॉट मी, प्लीज. दैट्स नो, वही तो, दैट्स अ की, दैट्स अ थिंग. इसने कभी डायरेक्टली ये चीज कही नहीं. इनडायरेक्टली ही यूज्ड टू से ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग्स, राइट? इन हिज ट्रीटीज. या या दैट्स व्हाट हिज वर्क इज ऑल अबाउट. ठीक है बट बहुत ज्यादा ही उनके लिए इट्स क्वाइट शॉकिंग फॉर हिम. ठीक है सोक्रेटिस का डेथ. ठीक है वो भी इन दैट वे. सो दैट्स व्हाई ही वाज मोर क्रिटिकल टुवर्ड्स द रूलर ऑफ दैट एथेंस. ठीक है दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम. सो दैट वाज द थिंग. सो जस्ट राइट अबाउट हिम लिटिल बिट. Academos. Now writing. वर्ल्ड के बारे में लिखना है, लिख लिया आप लोगों ने, आपने? उसमें बिलीफ में लिख लो थोड़ा बहुत. बिलीफ में. या गुड गुड. इट्स ओके. इल्यूजन में लिख लो, पहले काम करो. राइट इन इल्यूजन. मेड अप ऑफ शेडोज. मेड अप ऑफ, नहीं नहीं, illusions, only illusions, only shadows. Made up of shadows, reflections, poetry, etc. Now, right under belief refers to any kind of knowledge of things that change. इसी के अंदर another point, belief is practical. Belief is practical and may serve as a relatively reliable guide to life, but doesn't really involve thinking, but doesn't really involve thinking out to the point of certainty, thinking out to the point of certainty, out to the point of certainty. Now reason के अंदर लिखो knowledge of things like knowledge of things like maths, but which require that some postulates be accepted, which require that some postulates be accepted without questions. Intelligence without questions, without questions. Intelligence, knowledge of the highest and most abstract categories of things. Right? Categories of things, comma, an understanding of the ultimate God, an understanding of the ultimate God. Plato from Socrates. Plato from Socrates. He learned. No, no, yeah, that is done. That world part is done. Now another point. Before अगर टॉप में जगह है ना तो इनका मेजर वर्क है द रिपब्लिक. ठीक है तो जस्ट मेंशन द मेजर वर्क द रिपब्लिक टॉप पे. द रिपब्लिक. ठीक है दैट्स हिज मेजर वर्क. Republic is major work, his book, you can say, from under which he wrote each and everything that we are studying right now. So he said under all of this, under this title. There are more works he wrote on the laws, करके, ठीक है, there are many works. There is one more, I'm not able to remember, but what is important for us is that the Republic. ठीक है, for that I have to रुको, let me get my book for that. Uh, his major work is The Republic, The Politics or Statesmen, and the third one, The Laws. These are the three his major works. from everywhere. Uh, ठीक है. Now, from different books, I borrow all of those things and all. ठीक है. Now, right from Socrates, Plato from Socrates, he learned dialectic method, dialectic method of study, and discovery of truth, and discovery of truth, discovery of truth, and discovery of truth. For Plato, for Plato, for Plato, essence, essence, for Plato, essence had an existence, essence had an existence separate from its sense, had essence had separate from its individual manifestation, separate from its indiv- separate from its separate from its individual manifestation. Both, next point, both Socrates and Plato, both Socrates and Plato did agree, both Plato and Socrates did agree, comma, that knowledge could be attained, that knowledge could be attained only through reason, could be attained only only through reason. अपन यहाँ पे रीजन की बात कर रहे थे, राइट? रैशनलिज्म एंड ऑल, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑल ऑफ दिस. वर्च्यू लिखना है, वर्च्यू के बारे में लिटिल बिट. वी कैन राइट लिटिल बिट. यहाँ लिखो, द पंच लाइन ऑफ द रिपब्लिक, या नो, फ्रॉम दिस, फ्रॉम दिस बुक. No, this is totally different one. I have so much material from different coachings. It's a proper book on Western political thought. It's a book on Western political thought. So yeah, I'm quite interested in political thoughts as well. So yeah, political science I'm interested in. That's why. The punchline of the Republic, the assertion, the assertion, virtue is knowledge, virtue is knowledge. Yeah, virtue is knowledge, virtue is knowledge is a Socratic dictum. Language is quite difficult in this. Socratic dictum, which holds, which hold that, which hold that virtue is the ultimate idea of good, right? वही सेम चीज है जो कि अपन ने बात किया था। अच्छा रुको, मैं इसका मतलब लिखना है। लिखो लिखो लिखो। इन जनरल, नेक्स्ट पॉइंट लिखो। इन जनरल, बेसिक सिंपल लैंग्वेज में, virtue is the concept of, in general, virtue is the concept of goodness, goodness, or an objective sense of goodness, or an objective sense of goodness. इनका दोनों आ गया ना, intelligible world and physical world. Got this? Concept and objective sense. From this particular part, right? The reason behind linking continuously, the reason behind linking virtue with knowledge, the reason behind linking virtue with knowledge is that virtue comes with knowledge, which behind linking virtue with knowledge is that virtue comes with knowledge, comma, which means one cannot perform a wrongdoing having the knowledge of it, which means which means one cannot perform a wrongdoing having the knowledge of it. A wrongdoing having the knowledge of it. Wrongdoing having the knowledge of it. वही वाली चीज है। अगर राजा को पता होता कि वो चीज गलत कर रहा है तो कभी वो सोक्रेटिस को डेथ सेंटेंस देता ही नहीं। गॉट योर पॉइंट? यहाँ पे दैट इज कनेक्टिंग नाउ। इनडायरेक्टली ही इज सेइंग दैट, ठीक है, नॉट डायरेक्टली। कहीं पे भी डायरेक्टली इन्होंने ये चीज नहीं बोला है। फॉर दैट देन यू नीड टू स्टडी मैकियावेली एज वेल, ठीक है। नॉट मैकियावेलिज्म, इट्स आई गेस हिज फुल नेम इज निकोल मैकियावेली, ठीक है। नो नो, आई एम टॉकिंग, या totally different, they are totally different, ठीक है। So for them, sometimes for philosophers, you need to understand, पहले है ना, जैसे कि for some philosophers there is a barbarian, ठीक है, वही वाला है कि barbaric state, ठीक है, we are so uncivilized, we don't know how to talk, we guys don't know, ठीक है। और on other hand, ठीक है, extremes लोगों के लिए, for other philosophers we were like very civilized, ठीक है, कि सबसे ज्यादा समझदार कोई था नहीं अपने अलावा, ठीक है। सो इट्स वेरी कॉन्ट्राडिक्टिंग, राइट? इट्स ऑल अबाउट फिलोसफी। यू नीड टू लुक फ्रॉम दैट पर्टिकुलर लेंस, अदरवाइज शेल्डन जैसा हाल हो जाएगा, ठीक है। वो, या, राइट, गुड, डोंट वरी, या। सो नाउ एरिस्टोटल, वी आर डन विथ प्लेटो। व्हाट? या, tabula rasa, which is blank slate. डेफिनेटली। सो अगर अपन एरिस्टोटल में बात करें तो अपने इनके अंदर क्या क्या बात करेंगे, ठीक है, एरिस्टोटल में व्हाट विल स्टडी अबाउट हिम। सबसे पहले अपन इनके में बात करेंगे अबाउट क्या चीज स्टार्ट करेंगे सबसे पहले अपन इनके में, यूनिमोनिया स्टार्ट, या ठीक है। लेट्स स्टार्ट विद टेलियोलॉजी, ठीक है। देन विल टॉक अबाउट टाइप्स ऑफ सोल, ठीक है, गोल्डन मीन, ठीक है, विल टॉक अबाउट गोल्डन मीन, ठीक है, एंड यू नो ऑल ऑफ दिस। ज्यादा हो रहा है क्या? ज्यादा हो रहा है? ओके, ठीक है, विल एक्सप्लेन, विल टॉक अबाउट लॉ ऑफ एसोसिएशन, विल टॉक अबाउट, ठीक है। हम्म, we'll figure it out whether he gave that or not. Might be, we never know. Mhm. So, yeah, that's why. Yeah, yeah, we are on live. We are live. So, you see, we are live now. Yeah, we are going and everything. Okay, so now let's talk about Aristotle. ही इज वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट philosophers, ठीक है। इन्होंने बहुत कुछ बताया हर चीज के बारे में, जैसे कि यहाँ पे भी आप देख सकते हो, वेदर इट इज अपॉन, ही कवर्ड इवन मेमोरी, ठीक है, ही कवर्ड सेंसेशंस, एजुकेशन, ठीक है, सोल, ही टॉक्ड अबाउट ईच एंड एवरीथिंग, ठीक है, एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम, ठीक है। अगर अपन इनके मेजर वर्क की बात करें ना, इस मेजर वर्क वॉज विच वी आर इंटरेस्टेड इन इज अपॉन पॉलिटिक्स, ठीक है, विच वन जस्ट फॉर सेक, डी एनिमा, ठीक है, जिसका मतलब, ठीक है, दीज आर हिज मेजर
Are
वर्क्स।
you not writing it?
नहीं नहीं, इट इज टेकिंग टाइम, या इट इज टेकिंग टाइम, ठीक है। एंड वन मोर वर्क विच इज ऑन मेमोरी, ठीक है, दीज आर थ्री बुक्स विच आर वे मोर इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अस, ठीक है, इन टर्म्स ऑफ साइकोलॉजी, ठीक है, ही टच अपॉन ऑल ऑफ दीज टॉपिक्स, ठीक है। सो एज वी ऑल नो नाउ, Plato was more empiricist, was more rationalist. ठीक है, Plato and Socrates, right? They were more relying upon logic. They were relying more upon reason, right? What what Plato said, ठीक है, Plato said जो reality है ना, it exists independently of nature. Nature के ऊपर depend है क्या reality? Reality is all upon based upon reason, right? As per Plato. So nature के ऊपर dependent है ही नहीं reality आपकी, ठीक है। Reality is existed independently of nature, right? And by ignoring all the sensory experiences, प्लेटो ने आपके सारी sensory experiences को neglect कर दिया, ठीक है, इग्नोर ही कर दिया एक तरीके से। एंड रियलिटी एग्जिस्ट बेस्ड अपॉन रीजन बिकॉज ऑफ द पाइथागोरस। ठीक है, इन्फ्लुएंस देख रहे हो आप पाइथागोरस का, बिकॉज पाइथागोरस आल्सो टॉक्ड अबाउट रीजनिंग, अबाउट मैथमेटिक्स, abstract reasoning, intelligible world, all of those things, right? The same way, but what Aristotle did, that as per some philosophers, Plato is more rationalist, whereas for some philosophers, according to some philosophers, Aristotle was more empiricism. ठीक है, he gave the importance of experiences based upon sensory experiences. But in reality, or in true sense, we can say Aristotle was more empiricist and rationalist. Why so? We'll going to know about this thing. What he had said that अगर आपको नेचर के बारे में स्टडी करना है ना, if you want to know about the nature, then you have to investigate that particular nature in so depth. Getting my point? अगर आपको नेचर के बारे में स्टडी करना है ना, you have to understand nature very thoroughly first. Before applying those principles, before applying those reason principles, without applying those logical thoughts, before applying all of those thoughts, you need to understand nature first well enough. What I mean by this, एक बार लिखो, I'll explain. ये वाला पॉइंट लिखने पे और अच्छी तरीके से समझ में आएगा. Aristotle believed that mind must be employed before knowledge. Aristotle believed that mind must be employed before knowledge can be obtained, or attained, but the objects of rational thoughts, but the objects of rational thought is the information furnished by the senses. Information furnished by the senses. एक बार और लिखो. For Aristotle, in simple way, for Aristotle, the senses existed, but could be best for Aristotle, the senses existed, but could best become known by studying nature. He believed that if enough individual manifestations of a principle He believed that if enough individual manifestations of a principle, enough individual manifestations of a principle, individual individual manifestations, manifestations of a principle, principle or phenomena were investigated comma, eventually one could infer the essence that they exemplified. If you know If we look from here, Socrates talked about essence, right? Essence is what? What do you mean by essence? ठीक है, we need to understand this particular thing as well first. Essence is nothing, it's a soul या फिर core quality, ठीक है, जो कि कोई चीज बन रहा है किसी से, ठीक है, that's the essence what we are referring to, ठीक है, that's the core quality, ठीक है, from which something, yeah, right, it's kind of DNA, ठीक है, from अगर अपन biological perspective से देखें तो it is DNA, right, that's a genetic information, right, which carries information from, yeah, so that's we can say about him. That's what Aristotle told said. Okay, now getting my point. Why he is the he is considered as both empiricist as well as rationalist, right? Because hmm, exemplified. एक और point लिख लो, दो points और लिख लो for better understanding of this. For Aristotle, for Aristotle, first principle could be attained by examining nature directly. For Aristotle, first principle could be attained by examining nature directly, whereas for Plato, all knowledge exists. For Plato, all knowledge exists independently of nature. Yeah, Aristotle, next point. Aristotle disagreed with the Platos on the importance of maths. Aristotle disagreed with the Plato on the importance of maths. With the Plato on the importance of maths. For him, for Aristotle, logical analysis is a powerful tool, but often his emphasis was instead on the careful examination of nature. But his emphasis was instead on the careful examination of nature by observation and classification. Classification. Careful examination of nature by observation and classification. Examination of nature by observation and classification. Now let's talk about teleology. ठीक है, what do you mean by teleology? As per Aristotle, कोई भी चीज exist करती है ना नेचर में, there is a purpose, there is a act, there is a goal behind it. कोई ना कोई purpose है. For example, knife, चाकू है, ठीक है, it exists, right? What's the purpose of it? चीजों को काटना, right? So that's the purpose. Everything that exists in this nature, there is a purpose behind it, ठीक है? So to know anything, ठीक है, that is according to Aristotle, to know anything, we must understand four aspects of it, ठीक है, we need to understand there are कोई भी चीज हो वर्ल्ड में उसके चार एस्पेक्ट्स होंगे ही होंगे. And what are those four aspects of that particular thing? First one is the material cause. First one is the material cause. Second one is the formal cause. Third one is the efficient cause. Fourth one, which is the formal final cause. Material cause, फॉर्मल कॉज, एफिशिएंट कॉज एंड फाइनल कॉज। ठीक है, कोई भी चीज हो वर्ल्ड में उनके चार एस्पेक्ट्स होंगे ही होंगे। ठीक है, कुछ भी हो जाए। फर्स्ट वन विच इज द मटेरियल कॉज। ठीक है, अब कोई ना कोई चीज किसी ना किसी चीज से तो बनी हुई होगी ना, राइट? सो दैट्स द मटेरियल कॉज। मैटर of which thing is made, that's what material cause is, right? For example, statue, right? It's made of marble, right? So it's a material. ठीक है, material क्या है इसमें? marble, right? So it's a material cause. Then there comes formal cause. It's a particular form or a pattern of a thing. ठीक है, for example, marble के भी different forms होते हैं, right? Yes or no? So in the same way, this is a formal cause, right? It's a different forms or patterns of a things. That's formal cause. Then efficient cause. What efficient cause talks about? अब मार्बल, ठीक है, डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ मार्बल्स आर प्रेजेंट। अब मार्बल से अपन ने स्टैचू बनाया है, तो स्टैचू में अपन ने एनर्जी लगी है ना वो स्कल्प्टर की, राइट? ही इज ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग दैट मटेरियल थिंग इनटू सर्टेन फॉर्म, right? So there is a force, ठीक है? There is the energy of that sculptor, right? So it's a form, it's a force. Efficient cause is all about the force. Yeah, it's a energy, ठीक है? That transforms the material thing into a certain form. अब कोई मटेरियल चीज है जो कि अपन ने उठाया था, जैसे कि मार्बल, ठीक है, उससे अपन ने स्टैचू बनाया है, ठीक है, उसमें अपन को एनर्जी लगी है, अपन ने ट्रांसफॉर्म किया है ना मटेरियल को किसी कोई चीज में, कोई फॉर्म में। दैट्स व्हाट एफिशिएंट कॉज इज ऑल अबाउट। ठीक है, फाइनल कॉज, द लास्ट वन विच इज द फाइनल कॉज विच इज द पर्पस। ठीक है, अ पर्पस फॉर विच अ थिंग एग्जिस्ट। ठीक है, अब जैसे कि स्टैचू का पर्पस क्या है? माइट बी टू प्लीज पीपल, रीच पीपल, या एज अ मेमोरियल वी कैन से, राइट? अगर अपन डिफरेंट एग्जांपल लेते हैं, नाउ टॉक अबाउट पॉट। ठीक है, टॉक अबाउट दिस बॉटल। ठीक है, फॉर एग्जांपल पॉट की जगह, अब पॉट, ये बॉटल किससे बनी है? स्टील से, राइट? मटेरियल कॉज हो गया, राइट? फॉर्मल कॉज क्या हो गया? अब ये स्टील को किसी फॉर्म में चेंज किया, बॉटल के फॉर्म में किया है, राइट? अब जैसे कि या फिर अपन मिट्टी का पॉट ले लेते हैं, ठीक है, मिट्टी को ट्रांसफर किया उसको, राइट? अब यहाँ पे एनर्जी लगी होगी ना जिसने बनाया है इसे, उसकी एनर्जी लगी है, तो दैट्स दी एफिशिएंट कॉज हो गया। पर्पस क्या है? पानी भरना इसके अंदर, right? So that we can drink water. That's the purpose of this bottle. So it's a final cause. So according to Aristotle, everything that exists in this world has a purpose, has a goal. That's, and it has four aspects of it. First one is the material cause, formal cause, efficient cause, and final cause. That's what his teleology. Hmm. Thing exists. Yeah. Yeah, right. Because it is a purpose, right? So that's what Aristotle said. कि कोई भी चीज एग्जिस्ट करता है वर्ल्ड में, देयर इज अ रीजन बिहाइंड इट, देयर इज अ पर्पस, देयर इज अ वेल डिफाइंड गोल। Still, but will complete Aristotle at least. Will complete today. I have to complete Middle Ages. I don't know. Yeah, for tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. We need to start with medieval. May there are only two. But before Saint Augustine and Saint Thomas Aquinas, we need to understand Jesus. ठीक है, and we before Jesus we need to understand skepticism and cynicism as well. ठीक है, but we'll study that in tomorrow's class, don't worry. But then according to this we are lagging because of me only, because वो record नहीं हो पाया था कल lecture, so we waste, like, we have to record that lecture again for 1 hour. ठीक है, so that's teleology that he said about. ठीक है, there is a purpose everything that we looked around. ठीक है, now as you see, अगर आपने यहाँ पे चीज ऑब्जर्व किया होगा पर्पस में, यहाँ पे हर स्टेज पे there is a change is going on, right? Change is going on. अब वापस पहले आ जाओ, ठीक है? उन्होंने सब लोग क्या बोल रहे थे? चेंज, सेंसरी एक्सपीरियंस पे डाउट कर रहे थे बिकॉज ऑफ चेंज ओनली। अपन जो भी चीज देख रहे हैं वो चेंज हो रहा है, राइट? इसलिए उसकी वजह से वी कांट स्टडी दैट थिंग, राइट? दैट्स व्हाई इट्स ऑल इल्यूजन। ठीक है, उन्होंने अपने सेंसिटिव एक्सपीरियंसेस के ऊपर ही डाउट करना स्टार्ट कर दिया था, राइट? रिमेंबर दैट। नाउ अगेन इफ यू सी देयर इज अ चेंजेस गोइंग ऑन, ठीक है? वहां पे भी उन्होंने सेम एनालॉजी दी थी कि वाटर इज प्रेजेंट इन डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स, राइट? अगेन ही इज आल्सो सेइंग द सेम थिंग, राइट? Everything is keep changing, taking different forms, kind of those things and all, right? So what he looked change as evolution. He looked change as evolution. He looked change as where object is changing when it evolves into another thing, right? यहाँ पे अपन देख रहे हैं everything is evolving into another thing, right? For example, अगर अपन बात करते हैं सीड का, right? अगर अपन कोई सा भी सीड डालते हैं प्लांट की तो इट ग्रोज इनटू प्लांट, right? It grows in different stages. It grows in different stages, right? So in the same way, but what remains the same? Matter. Matter remains the same, na? But matter is differ in ways, differing in different ways, right? But it is same. That is matter. Matter is the same thing. So that's why, according to him, change is evolution. Change is taking place as in terms of evolution. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the thing. Hmm. Why? Got this point? या यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट। जो स्टार्टिंग के सवाल पे जो सवाल उठाना स्टार्ट किया था उन्होंने, ठीक है, उनका आंसर एरिस्टोटल यहाँ पे दे रहे हैं, ठीक है? दस, एक बार इसको यहाँ पे लिख लो। दस, दस Aristotle conclude that change is not blind or meaningless. Thus, Aristotle conclude that change is not blind or meaningless. Blind or meaningless. He explained here. Take that particular part. So, according to Aristotle, now reality consists of three things, right? Now try to understand. Now, according to now, as per Aristotle, reality consists of all three things, which is form, matter, and movement, right? Form, which is inherent, and now reality. Now, reality consists of all of these three things, right? We are talking about reality now, right? According to Aristotle, reality consists of all the three: form, matter, and movement. According to Aristotle, reality consists of all the three: form, matter, and movement. Form is inherent. Forms are inherent in things. Forms are inherent in things. Form, matter, next point, form, matter, and movement have no real existence independent of each other. have no real existence independent of each other. Next point, have no real existence independent of each other. Have no real existence independent of each other. Next point, Plato had searched for truth. Plato had searched for truth in the sensible world. Plato had searched for truth in the supersensible world. In the supersensible of forms, world of forms, trying to remove himself, world of forms, trying to remove himself from everyday human life, world of forms, trying to remove himself from everyday human life. But for Aristotle, truth lies in the world of appearances. But for Aristotle, truth lies in the world of appearances. But for Aristotle, truth lies at appearances itself, world of appearances itself, and not in the some transcendental world. Not in the some transcendental world. Now you know, now you guys can see why he is referred as empiricist by some of the philosophers. Got this? Because as we talked about empiricism is all about experiences, right? That we can sense, take it with our own senses. That's why we call empiricism. That's the reason behind why some of the philosophers called him empiricist, but he never denied reason as well. He always carried both the things simultaneously. But he rejected that, but yeah, balancing. And that's why he gave another term, which is golden mean. ठीक है? Golden mean. Golden mean is nothing, it's just a madhyamika mark which has been given by Buddhists as well. ठीक है, बुद्धिस्ट ट्रेडिशन में भी अगर आप जाओगे तो वहां पे भी बोलते हैं कि मध्यमिका मार्ग, जैसे कि बीच का रास्ता यू हैव टू अडॉप्ट. ठीक है, नॉट एट द एक्सट्रीम्स यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट एट द सेंटर. ठीक है, बीच का रास्ता ऑलवेज यू हैव टू डिसाइड इंस्टेड ऑफ द एक्सट्रीम्स वन. इन द सेम वे दैट इज ऑल्सो अबाउट गोल्डन मीन ओनली, व्हाट एरिस्टोटल सेड. ठीक है, अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, ठीक है, मैंने अभी आपको एक और इनकी बुक बताई थी, ठीक है, ऑन डे एनिमा करके, ऑन द सोल, right? So in that particular book, he talked about three types of souls. He talked about three types of souls. ठीक है? And as he talked about, each and everything has a purpose, right? हर कोई के पीछे purpose है, फिर goal है. तो in the same way, जो purpose उस particular चीज का है ना, it has been determined by that particular soul. It possess. ठीक है? For example, there is a first soul which is vegetative soul. First soul he talked about vegetative soul, या फिर this is known as nutritive soul. Vegetative soul या फिर nutritive soul. This soul possessed by plants. ठीक है, and this soul allows only for growth, the assimilation of food and reproduction. ठीक है, allows only growth, the assimilation of food and reproduction. Another soul he talked about is sensitive soul. ठीक है, which is possessed by plants, which is possessed by animals. ठीक है, sensitive soul. Okay. Or you want, we'll do tomorrow then. Don't worry. We'll start with the soul part tomorrow only. ठीक है, we'll end this session here only.